Sunday afternoon, October 14th, 2018. It is the 5th day of the 7th Hebrew month. My name is Daniel John Lee, and this is a channel devoted to exposing the satanic pedophiles in high places in DC, Hollywood, and elsewhere, protecting the innocent children. And my goal also is to exalt the true gospel of Yahshua the Messiah, Jesus Christ. Okay, so this is a really big topic here, and I've touched on this before in earlier videos, but I want to revisit it. Before I do that, real quickly, I'm going to just show this again. I've had some other people email me today wanting to join the list, so I want to flash this up. If you're 100% committed to going, and you do have to pay your own way, go ahead and email me and I can add you to the list. And then don't forget about this link here. Click on the link. It's in the links below my videos. And just make sure you do the verification email. I got a lot of links below my videos now. I always put the links. I mean, it has my Bitchute, my Gab. It has all the links, you know, to support me if you want. I just don't put those links below my Sabbath videos because I don't want any donations or anything like that on Shabbat. So I don't put anything like that from Friday night to Saturday night or on any of the high Sabbaths. But on all my other weekday videos, you can see all my contact info, all the links and everything. It's right there below every video. Okay, so let's get right into this. So this is a news story actually that was published on October 9th, 2018, so just a few days ago. It says, report Pope Francis implicated in the sexual abuse of deaf orphans in Argentina. As a cardinal in Argentina, Pope Francis was told that priests were raping deaf children but did nothing to stop the sexual abuse and punish the abusers. In a sordid report from the Daily Beast comes a tragic tale of the systematic rape and sexual abuse of deaf orphans by Catholic priests and monks, a story that begins in Italy and ends in Argentina, where the future Pope Francis was then known as Cardinal Jorge or George Mario Bergoglio. The story explains how deaf children were groomed for sexual abuse, noting, the priests and monks created their own sick sign language to command the deaf and mute boys to perform oral sex and be sodomized. This is so disgusting. The details of the story are sickening and begin in Italy with a boy named Giuseppe who was born to impoverished parents outside of Verona in northern Italy with a congenital birth defect that left him deaf and mute. The deaf boy was eventually enrolled at the Antonio Provola Institute for Deaf and Mute Children. The Daily Beast reports, when he was 11, a monk who worked at the institute as an educator started teaching special secret signs for things like masturbation, fellatio, penis, and anus. I didn't understand at first just why this man was teaching me these strange secret signs, Giuseppe explained in an exclusive and very emotional interview in Rome. Then one day it became very clear when one of the priests made the secret sign for fellatio when we were alone, which was followed by him pushing his erect penis into my mouth. This is a direct quote from this. And this happened when he was just a small boy. He then reports, of course, we screamed and we cried. Sometimes you would see priests coming into the dormitory at night, or you would see friends with tears just rolling down their faces, and you knew exactly what had just happened. You didn't need to hear, this is so, you didn't need to hear to know. Eventually, Giuseppe grew up and escaped the abuse and made it his mission to report it. He is now one of 67 young boys who have been named in court documents and were allegedly abused by more than 24 priests and brothers at the Provola Institute. After the abuse claims of Giuseppe and others became public, the offending priests and monks were quietly shipped off to Argentina. This is standard practice for the Catholic Church and has been for decades. And if you've seen that movie Spotlight that came out in early 2017, that's exactly what happened in Boston. All these priests that were sodomizing these little boys, they just got quietly shuffled to other dioceses and parishes, you know, across the United States. This is common practice for the Catholic Church. When a priest is caught raping and sexually assaulting children, he is quietly moved to a new location where the pattern resumes. The offending priests from Italy were shipped to another school for the deaf run by Catholics, only this school was in Argentina, where Pope Francis was serving as Cardinal Jorge, or George, however you pronounce it, Mario Bergoglio. The Daily Beast reports, one of the most notorious alleged offenders was Father Nicola Carati, now 83, who was moved to South America in the mid-1980s after Giuseppe and others' abuse claims came to light. Rather than handing him over to secular authorities or asking the Mother Church in Rome to defrock him, the bishop transferred him to the Provola Institute in Mendoza, Argentina. Several other priests accused of abuse in Verona were also transferred to the sister school in Argentina, but have since passed away. At the Provola Institute in Mendoza, Argentina, under the direction of Father Nicola Carati, The abuse of deaf children continued. Corradi was finally arrested in 2016 on allegations that he abused 22 deaf and mute children over the course of nearly 3 decades. 3 other priests were arrested with him. There are more than 60 civil trials going on across Argentina against priests like Corradi who allegedly abused children. As for the abuse in Argentina, the Daily Beast notes, Julieta Anazaco was one of the victims at the Argentinian Provolone Institute. She says she was first abused by Father Ricardo Gimenez, who worked at the Institute. He first attacked her when she was just 7 years old, she says, when the two were in a tent beside being used as a confessional at a Catholic youth festival. The abuse went on for 3 years before her parents found out and filed a complaint. Gimenez was then transferred by the Archdiocese of Buenos Aires under the direction of then Cardinal Jorge George Mario Bergoglio, now Pope Francis. In other words, Pope Francis knew about the sexual abuse, but did nothing to prosecute the criminals. He simply transferred the child-raping priest to a new location. According to the report, victims from the Provolone Institute repeatedly asked for a meeting with then Cardinal Jorge Mario Bergoglio, now Pope Francis. However, Bergoglio refused to meet with the victims. In 2013, Anazgo and other victims from the Provolone Institute sent a registered letter of protest to Pope Francis, reminding him that he ignored the reports of abuse. Pope Francis has still not replied. Father Gimenez is still an active priest. Bottom line, as a cardinal in Argentina, Pope Francis was told that priests were raping deaf children but did nothing to the predatory priests. So not only does Pope Francis cover and abet and aid pedophile priests, but I reported in that story a number of weeks ago that Pope Francis goes into those tunnels beneath the Vatican where he cannibalizes and sodomizes babies. George W. Bush participates in this. He's part of that whole evil underground group that's underneath the Vatican. In fact, it was the Vatican who really supported and upheld George W. Bush. A lot of people don't know this, but back in 2000, the Pope then, not Pope Francis, the Pope in the year 2000, people don't realize how evil these popes are, going years and years and actually thousands of years. But the Pope that was Pope in the year 2000, guess what he said? He said Bush will become president. That's what he said. Before the whole Al Gore, George W. Bush thing happened, the Pope predicted, my guy, George W., he'll be in there. So, and that was before we ever got to Pope Francis or the evil, wicked Pope before Pope Francis. Oh, God. Talking about the history of the popes, the Roman Catholic Church, in fact, the Eastern Orthodox Church for that matter, because originally there were one Catholic Church and then they split up into the East Orthodox and then the Western Roman Catholic Church. Before they ever split up, the seedlings of where they originated was in the Council of Nicaea in 325 CE, when Constantine, who pretended to be a Christian, tried to combine Roman sun god worship with the truth in the scriptures. And he moved the Sabbath from Shabbat to Sunday to appeal to the pagan sun god worshipers. He outlawed the Hebrew feast festivals. A lot of the early fathers kept Passover on the 14th of the moon, the new moon. But he smashed that and brought in Ishtar, observing the Ishtar Easter observance. He brought in Christmas, which was a pagan festival that had nothing to do with scriptures. So it all started in the Council of Nicaea, and from that council, the seedlings began to grow and eventually formed the Catholic Church, which is nothing but a bunch of sun god pagan worship, and is nothing, and it has been always from its inception, a front for child sex trafficking. The Roman Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church are wicked, wicked organizations, and they should not exist on planet Earth. And if you're a Roman Catholic or if you're an Eastern Orthodox, get out of that church. My grandma used to be a Roman Catholic. And so when I was little, my parents would take me up to Ohio to visit her. They had this huge Roman Catholic cathedral in Cary, Ohio. And I can tell you right now, the thing she was doing was pagan. She would have these rosary beads and pray to Mary. Folks, you don't pray to Mary, you only pray to Yahshua. Mary's dead and won't be resurrected until Yom Teruah, some future Yom Teruah. You don't pray to dead people, you don't pray to dead saints, you pray to Yahshua, the living King of Kings. So the whole Catholic Church needs to be complete. It's rotten through and through, and it is all it is a child sex trafficking front. Pope Francis must be arrested, publicly tried, convicted, and executed, and the Roman Catholic Church and the Eastern Orthodox Church needs to be disbanded because they are child sex trafficking fronts. All of them, through and through. especially the Roman Catholic Church. It's not quite as prevalent in the Eastern Orthodox Church, but it goes on there too. So here's another story that I'm going to put a link to that one. Here's another one. This is from 2014. Archbishop's computer contains over 100,000 child porn files. This is ridiculous. More than 100,000 child porn videos and photos have been found on the computer of former Archbishop Joseph Wesolowski, who is also accused of raping numerous children in the Dominican Republic and Poland. Wesolowski, currently under house arrest at the Vatican, and again, this was back in 2014, is one of the highest-ranking church officials to be accused of sexually abusing children during the Catholic Church's widespread and costly sexual abuse scandal. The videos and photos of child pornography were stored on a computer in the office at the Holy See diplomatic compound in the Dominican Republic, where Wesolowski served as Papal Nuncio in Santo Domingo. After being publicly accused of procuring child prostitutes last year, Wesolowski was secretly removed from his post as Papal Nuncio in Santo Domingo by Vatican officials, hoping to avoid an embarrassing public prosecution. And he was taken into the Vatican, where he's supposedly under house arrest. This was back in 2014. This is a continued pattern. They don't prosecute or arrest. They don't punish their own priests. They simply coddle them, either transfer them to another diocese or another parish, or bring them into the Vatican. I'm telling you right now, the Pope needs to be arrested, and he will be. He's coming down. I'm sorry, I'm getting really emotional about this, but we cannot live in a world like this anymore. We, blood-bought, blood-washed saints of Yahshua, we are tasked with the process of praying and fasting and praying that all these strongholds get taken down. And I'm telling you, the Vatican, the Jesuits, these people, they are pedophiles. They are satanic pedophiles. They cannibalize babies. They eat babies, and they need to be prosecuted, held accountable, arrested, and publicly executed, really, is what needs to happen. Okay, I'm going to put the links to both of these stories right underneath the video. Please join me October 19th. That is Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement. I know the Jews celebrated it last month, but I've made videos about showing what the true calendar is. Yom Kippur is this Friday. Join me Thursday sunset to Friday sunset, where we're going to fast and pray. We're going to pray that the enemy's plans for Halloween night are totally upended. We're going to pray for the November 9th event. We're just going to pray and rend our hearts, because that's what the power is. So as many of you who love Yah, join me in doing this. And then I have links below my videos. I got my Bitchute page, my Gab page, all those things. People who ask me, do you back up your stuff? Yes, I do. It's all down there. All my links. There's my contact emails down there. And then I also have my PayPal link. If you want to send a donation, I've got a link to my Patreon where you can make a pledge, and I have a free ebook that I'm teasing out every week on a psychological suspense thriller about the Hollywood pedophilia being exposed in Hollywood. I also have a link to my author page where you can buy my books. I have some suspense thriller books. And so I got all that if you want to support me, because, you know, I do work a job, but I want to be able to transition out of my job and do this full time and preach the gospel across the United States. So, hallelujah. Well, this was such a dark, intense video. I want to end with a little bit of humor. So the headphones I use for work, they broke, and I had to buy a Bluetooth. So I bought this Bluetooth, and then when I take the plugs out of my ears, it makes me look like this Jewish guy with the these go here, but when I take them out, it's like I'm a Jew in Israel with the... Anyway, I just thought that was funny. I'm Messianic, guys. I reject Talmud. I reject Zohar. I'm one of the good guys, okay? Don't worry. I just thought that was funny. All right. Shalom, shalom, guys. Yah bless.